Greetings there, my guzzlers. It's summer. Well, it will be by the time you see this. Well, sort of. And as you can tell, I've got my t-shirt on because it's summertime. Fucking freezing outside, mind you. I don't know where the bloody summer is, but apparently summer. So, we're going to do a salad. And I'm going to do a pseudo fusion salad. Now, strictly speaking, a fusion dish is one where you're taking different cultures and sort of mix matching them, if you like. So I don't know, it might be like a Japanese salad, but you're chucking, I don't know, Mexican things into it. So it's a Japanese Mexican fusion. Well, this is just a fusion of different cooks. And in fact, I think they're probably all from the UK anyway. We're going to make a simple cucumber and red onion salad with grilled peaches. Well, actually, they're not peaches because they didn't have any peaches. So they're nectarines and pretty much the same thing. And we're going to make a zero fat dressing that's very much like a sort of a mayo French sort of dressing-ish, if you like. And we're going to do the dressing first. So you're going to need a little blender or food processor, coriander, black pepper, some salt, some mustard, some lemon, some white wine vinegar, some natural fat-free yoghurt, a chili, red chili, and some garlic. And that is going to make up one part of our pseudo fusion salad. So I've got 250 grams of fat-free Greek yogurt. This is actually a Jamie. I don't know if did I tell you? It's a Jamie recipe. Okay. So I'm just going to put that into there, and I managed to get it all over that top bit, which is going to go into the top of that blender, and it's going to make a mess in there, isn't it? Not a very good design, this, because any food on there ends up getting in there. Okay. Oi, oi, oi. Get rid of that. Okay, so that's that in there, and then we want about, now this is going to make far more dressing than we need. In fact, his original recipe used double this amount. What he said was the recipe will last as, or the dressing will last as long as the expiry date of the yogurt, but because we're putting garlic in it, apparently that makes it only last about 2 or 3 days in the fridge. So you can keep it. So I'm using about a tablespoon of white wine vinegar. Okay. And then we want to add, oh bugger it, I'm going to have my big knife. We want to add about half a red chilli. Now, we're not too worried about chopping them up because it's going in there and getting blitzed anyway. So I'm just going to peel that garlic and shove that in there whole. Now, with the coriander, get that bit of peel off of there. With the coriander, we're not worried about the stalks. There's flavour in them stalks, so I'm just sort of roughly chopping that like that. Get rid of that out of the way. And then you want about a teaspoon of mustard. Get a teaspoon. Now, Jamie said English mustard. I didn't have any English mustard. We just got this Dijon mustard, so it's getting Dijon mustard. Ooh. That's clearing my sinuses. Now, a bit of freshly ground black pepper and a pinch of salt. Chuck it on there as well. Now, we're going to add a little bit of lemon. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some zest to that, because obviously you get a lot of the lemony thing from the zest. And then final thing I want to do is I want to just add, this is a large lemon, so I'm not going to add the whole lot. I'm just going to add about that much lemon juice. Okay, and that is our ingredients for our dressing. All we want to do now is flip this all up until everything is all smashed to crap and we got a nice smooth dressing. You can see how messy this gets. Not very good design. This is a Ninja, although it's not the same as the actual Ninja when it comes to like your ovens and things like that. I think this is a little bit of a sneaky sort of knockoff type thing. Right, let's give it a taste. You're getting the heat from the mustard. Oh yeah, oh, and of course the chilli. Actually, it's the chilli I can get there. You've got that yogurty taste. It's a little bit on the sort of tangy side from the lemon and vinegar, but I think we'll leave it at that. Okay, so let's just put this to one side. Like I say, Jamie says because of the thing like the garlic and that you put in it, you can keep this for a few days in the fridge, what you don't use. If it weren't for that, you could keep it sort of a week or so. Anyway, let me just move some of this and we'll start preparing the salad part. Now, you want one large cucumber. I've got two. I'm not sure whether one's going to be enough for two of us. Now, you can do the next bit with the cucumber with a mandolin. But I'm not going to bother, because you want it thick enough slices. It's going to add a little bit of a crunch to it. Okay, I know you can adjust this, you know, how fine you want the slices on your mandolin, so it's entirely up to you. Okay, I have to say, since I sharpened this knife with me I can't remember how you pronounce it now, 2 sharpener. Now I found out what angle to sharpen it at. This is really nice now. Yeah, originally I had a little bit of a cock up where I got the angles wrong. Then thought it was all meant to be done at 20. And although them other knives in there sharpened up nicely, this just would not sharpen. And then I discovered, because it is a Japanese knife, it needs to be done at 15. So it did take a little bit of extra effort because I've been trying to grind it at 20. But once it had a good old session on there, it started sharpening up great. I still need to do a little bit more with it, but at the moment I'm more than happy how it's going. But anyway, I digress. So I'm just going to slice up this cucumber. Now, originally the salad was just cucumber and a bit of red onion, but I thought there's not a lot there, so that's why I'm adding some grilled peaches to it. Okay, actually I think probably I'm going to be all right with just the one cucumber. So just going to get that in there, and then we get ready to do the onion. So I've halved my onion, and then I've just sliced through to make them into quarters. Okay, and it's up to you how much onion you want to put in there. I might just put a little bit more from the other half in there. Okay, and then you want some fresh dill. Could not find any fresh dill anywhere, so I'm going to be using a little bit of dried dill. Like I say, if you had like a small bunch of dill, just roughly sort of chop that. But I'm just going to give this a sprinkle of dried. Okay, and then I'm going to toss this together, and then I'm going to add some of that dressing. So the onion just needs sort of breaking up. Like I say, I did think to myself, that's a reasonable enough salad, but really want something with it. So I decided, sod it, we'll have the peaches. So just going to pour some of that in there. Okay, and then we're just going to toss that through, and I think that might be enough dressing. You can always put this as a little side dish, so if someone wants more dressing they can do that, but for now that's our cucumber and onion dressed. Just like me. Do you like my new t-shirt? Negroni. I'm not on Negroni, I'm on a Chilean Malbec. Right, so this is where we're going to take our peaches, or in this case nectarines, and I just want to halve them. Now originally it was going to be sort of 1 or 2 peaches per person. It doesn't want to separate. So the trouble I found this with nectarines before, they're not quite the same as like peaches. These are a lot harder usually. They'll probably end up breaking into other bits, but we just want to try and separate them and get the stones out the middle. So I'm going to carry on attempt doing that off camera. So I managed to twist them in half, but to try and get, I switched to a different knife because I didn't want to get doing that. Very, very hard stones in these. The normal thing like with an avocado, where you can knock the stone that into the like this avocado pit or whatever, doesn't want to work. These are just too hard, so I'm just working my way gently around without trying to take my fingers off, using I'm not going to use my knife, having said about sharpening it and then go and hammer it away into a peach stone. Ain't happening. So I'm just going to work these out, and then the only thing you're going to need obviously is a griddle pan, and you're going to need some spray oil. You don't have to have a spray oil, you could just pour some in there, but anyway, just going to finish getting them stones out and then check that she who must be obeyed is ready to eat, and we'll do our peaches. Right, after much pissing about, they're finally out there. So I'm just going to spray the bottom of this. Okay, it is non-stick, but I want a little bit of oil in that to help it along. And now, yeah, and the very last one, what that very last one did. all down my nice new clean shirt when it ain't fucking clean now. Bastard. Now, and also don't touch the fucking handle once you've got this heat in, because it's going to be fucking hot. So we're just going to get that up temperature, and then we going to do these basically about 15 minutes. So you want about a medium on the cut side, okay? And then to finish off, we'll turn them and do the other side. So got a little while yet, and then we'll, when they're getting close to doing, we'll start plating up, okay? I haven't told you any fun facts yet, have I? Well, you ain't getting any tonight, because it's just about the pseudo fusion cooking. I can't remember where I got the cucumber and onion salad from. I told you the dressing was from Jamie Oliver, and I can't remember where I got the grilled peaches, but then again it's just cutting them in half and grilling them. Well, it's not even grilling them, is it? It's more like frying them. They've had 15 minutes, so I'm just going to turn these over. Unfortunately, even though the heat should pass through the whole lot of this thing, it still does tend to just cook the ones in the middle a bit more, the ones that are over the burner. But we're just going to swap them over, and then we're just going to do them other sides. Now, because they are nectarines, they are a little bit harder packed, or they're just not as ripe. But obviously if it was a peach, they'd be a little bit softer, especially now. And also we're getting that, well, we're getting it with the nectarines as well, but getting a little bit of caramelization on them open cuts. So I'm just going to give them about, well, just under 5 minutes. Well, I would do if the blue timer started when I clicked the fucking button. I've already put some of my salad out on the plates. So when we're ready to serve these up, we'll get tasting. Our grilled peaches, I have to make, aren't I? With our cucumber and onion salad, with a nice mustardy, chili, emphasis on the chili, hint of garlic, dressing. You might want to tone the chili back a little bit if you're not that keen on it. But let's have a little taster. So, bit of onion, bit of cucumber. Nice fresh crunch. Oops, right. From the salad. Getting a lot of heat from that dressing. Like I say, I think perhaps that chili's a bit more potent. The nectarines are still quite hard, so I'm just going to have to put that down. Let's cut a bit of nectarine. And then you've got the nice warm sweetness from that nectarine coming through, or peach if you have peach, counterbalancing the sort of the heat and everything from the salad. There you go, our pseudo fusion, not really a fusion at all, grilled peach with a cucumber and dill salad with a nice fat-free French style dressing. I'm going to go and eat that now.